What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast, where we're here to catch you up on all the latest football news and analysis. I'm Baden.
And I'm Hank. Today, we'll be recapping college football week 1, covering some of the recent headlines, and sharing our hottest takes for this coming football season. All right, here we go. Let us begin. We're back after a long summer.
So happy to be back.
Great summer.
Very good summer.
Long summer. It's been too long.
Important season of rest, but it's time to jump back into it.
100%. Let's start off strong with just some we're doing headlines first. We just talked about this.
Yes.
All right, and we'll jump in.
A little bit of a warm-up. We gotta get into it.
For something that I may have talked about quite a bit recently, one of the biggest headlines of this offseason that came in the last week of the offseason is the Dallas Cowboys trading All-Pro Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Baden, what was your original thoughts about this trade as an unbiased football analyst?
Football analyst. The first time I saw it, I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw a picture of Micah Parsons with it was photoshopped to have him in a Green Bay uniform, and my first thought was, oh, that would be crazy. I saw one with him in a Falcons uniform, one with him in this uniform, that uniform, just through the contract disputes and things. Mm-hmm. And so my first thought was, oh, that'd be crazy, because I saw headline, whatever. I didn't even think that much of it. But then I looked at the caption, and it said, Micah Parsons traded to the Green Bay Packers. And then I looked up, and I was like, oh, it must be a meme account. Looked up, no, official NFL account. My brain did all the mental gymnastics to not believe that trade actually happened. It was very hard to believe, because every offseason, big names, big players that want big money, there's always a contract dispute. And it's always like, oh, I'm leaving. Oh, I'm going to delete all my social media posts that have my team. I'm going to delete all those. And then a few weeks down the road, it's all figured out. They give them their money or they don't. And you know what? It's all fine. They play that season.
Yeah.
Clearly that did not happen. So, at this point, I think that I don't know that this trade is a steal. Well, I don't know that it's a robbery. I definitely think the Packers won the trade. Micah Parsons is one of the best edge rushers that we have right now in the league. And so I definitely think the Packers won the trade, but they didn't rob the Cowboys blind. Should it have happened? I don't think so. I think the Cowboys should have figured out. Jerry Jones has the money. Jerry Jones has the money. Yep. They should have paid him, but they didn't. And even though it's going to hurt the Cowboys, it's not – I don't think it's the end of the world, but they should have given him the money.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And my immediate thought is, why would the Cowboys do this? Mm-hmm. Because Jerry Jones, he's after – we know Jerry Jones is after the money. If Jerry Jones can do something that gets him the money, that's the direction he's going to head. And Micah Parsons sells so many jerseys, makes many highlights. But what you look at is some of what Jerry Jones has talked about recently, as well as how Micah Parsons was operating in his last few weeks, even months, in Dallas. Jerry Jones, over the summer, I think it may have even been in the context of Parsons' contract disputes, said that he likes to run this place like a soap opera.
Yeah.
He wants the drama, and, he drew it out as long as he could, and then he ends it.
Yep.
And we saw Micah Parsons, that last preseason game when he was laying on the table, no jersey, telling Falcons personnel, call me. Yeah. At that point is when I was like, okay, he's gone. He's not coming back to Dallas.
Yeah. And then you have your manager, Jerry Jones, calling you by the wrong name in a press conference.
Yeah.
Calling you Michael. I mean, there were a lot of signs that were like, oh, wait, this is actually happening,
Yeah, 100%. But, as you said, it is lopsided towards the Packers. Because all-star edge rushers are not easy to find. All-star players are not easy to find. You look at the star players in the league. You look at the edge rushers, the outside linebackers, these players on the defensive line that are as good as Micah Parsons. Debatably, there's 3. I mean, you look, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, maybe Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, and there's not a ton else besides that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had, in recent history, we've had like J.J. Watts. We've had Aaron Donalds on the inside. But Micah Parsons can do anything on the defense. We've seen his stats. We've seen his tape. This isn't someone that anyone wants to get rid of. The players, the fan base. And so, as I said, as you said too, it obviously was the point of no return.
Yeah.
Which stinks, especially for Dallas fans. Like, there's those posts all the time that are top or like worst cities to be a fan of, and New Orleans is there, like with the Pelicans and Saints just doing awfully. But then you look at Dallas for the past 15 years. You have 2 titles, one with the Mavs, one with the Rangers. You have a lot of heartbreak. You have the Stars losing late quite a few times. You have the Mavs losing late. And then you have the Cowboys, who are just hard to be a fan of once it gets to January every year. Or it's hard once you get to January if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, then it's hard all season. But you have the Mavs trading Luka, which is just mind-boggling for anything. And then you have the Cowboys trading Micah Parsons. 2 star athletes, top 5 at their position, easily. Luka, top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, debatably up there. He was, I think, top 30 in NFL Top 100, and he's gone all of a sudden. And he brings immediate impact to Green Bay. And I don't want to overreact because NFC North is loaded. You have the Lions, who I don't think will be quite as good as they were last year, just because of losing coordinators, just some schemes that are different.
Yeah.
And the Vikings have a really strong defense. I think that the Bears are going to take a step up offensively with Ben Johnson. But Green Bay, this solidifies them as a deep playoff contender at the least.
Absolutely.
And definitely, at this point, a contender for the division.
And we've only seen them get better.
Yes.
Last season, of course, with injury with Jordan Love at the beginning of the year, there were some bumps in the road. But we have seen they're one of the teams that you can visibly see the improvement season to season, and it doesn't look like it's at a trajectory where it's going to go down.
100%.
Especially now with this trade.
And, okay, the last thing I want to cover for this trade, before we move on to a couple more tiny headlines and then on to college football week 1, trying to fit in a good bit here today and get you some hot takes. I'm not a big hot take guy, but I was prepping. First episode of the season. So we need some hot takes.
Exactly. These are hot takes that we believe.
Exactly.
We're not just throwing stuff out there to get you to click on the video. We want you to know this is what we believe.
Exactly.
It might be stupid, but it might be right.
See, that's something that me and Baden have been talking about. Like, what's something that we can do to make sure that we step above any other football podcast that's out there? One, we can put in our research, but people have access to a lot of things that we don't have. The thing that we have is we have the heart to serve our listeners, and part of how we do that is by giving you what we believe and the most correct info. Getting you clickbait, that's not serving the viewers. What we're going to give you, hopefully, in our hearts, we're doing our best to serve you, the viewer, listener, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Anyway, the last thing with the Micah Parsons trade, Baden, what do you think it would take for the Cowboys to win this trade? For us to look back 5-10 years from now and say, oh, the Cowboys somehow won this trade. It was, again, the pieces. The Packers got Micah Parsons. The Cowboys got Arden Key, a defensive tackle, and 2 first-round picks, which is, by the way, less than the Jets got for Jamal Adams back in the day.
Yeah, those first-round picks are going to be crucial, especially with a team like the Cowboys, who has had a lot of stars. Not thinking about Micah Parsons, because obviously it's a different scenario, but a lot of stars, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, who are not in their prime. And it's time to find new people to be in their prime. So with those first-round picks, of course, now, you lose Micah Parsons. So looking at the defense is going to be important. But I think they're at a point now where you start looking to build up that offense now. You look at quarterbacks. You look at running backs. And then definitely Key is going to need to play his role. He's going to need to play his role on that defensive line because that's something the Cowboys have had, is that defensive line and those middle linebackers. And so you need him to play his role. And that's going to be what it is. And those first-round picks are going to be so crucial. Mm-hmm. So crucial.
Yeah, I like that. I hadn't thought of that perspective, honestly. Arden Key, of course, has to play his role. He's not a Micah Parsons, but he may be a better defensive tackle than the Cowboys have. He's definitely going to be a starter or a backup that rotates in all the time. I assume he'll be a starter next to Odigizua, who's ironically his college teammate. But as you said, with the two firsts, for some reason in my mind, it was, okay, they have to find someone who's as good as Parsons, whether that's trading up in the top 5, whether it's just doing a lot of research on these edge rushers, on these outside linebackers, on the defense. But I like what you said, just like, okay, Dak's not going to be here much longer.
Yeah.
They don't have that much of a run game. They have CeeDee Lamb to trade it for George Pickens. What are they going to do to make this team come back to the top? And maybe that is turning over into a new offensive regime and then letting these young defensive guys develop. People love DeMarvin Overshone, the rookie edge rusher. Several rookie edge rushers that the Cowboys drafted are projected to do relatively well. They got some steals in the draft. And so a rebuild could be in the near future for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Maybe this trade will make them finally fall below mediocrity. But as you said, not much defense, so the Cowboys' offense is going to be valuable in fantasy this year. Just a shout-out.
That's very true. Shout-out. That's very true.
CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, Jalen Tolbert, if you're in a deep league, all those guys. Next headline, it was the last run for Coach Corso on College Game Day.
Yep.
And all of his former schools won this past week, and his final pick, which was the same as his first ever pick on College Game Day, on the top game of the week, was correct.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
All
that
6 schools that he coached at won this past weekend, and his first ever team he picked was Ohio State, and it ended it with him too.
That's amazing. And what a career in pretty much every fashion for him.
The player that he was, the coach that he was, and then College Game Day is just a staple in our culture.
Oh yeah, especially it's gotten so influential over the last 2 years, 3 years. That's a legend.
Yeah,
a legend.
100%. Just shout out Coach Corso there for, like we said, giving the viewers what they deserve.
Exactly.
Making it entertaining, putting in his research. You see a lot of guys like, I'm going to pick this team because my nephew goes there.
Yeah.
But he knows his stuff, and maybe also is a little lucky. I'm going to pick Florida State because I can't pick against the school that I went to, and then they beat Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, sometimes it's okay to be a little lucky.
100%.
He's 90 years old, too.
That is crazy.
90 years old.
I didn't even...
I believe that's accurate. Let me look that up and make sure.
I meant to switch our headline right after this with that one so that talking about Coach Corso and Florida State and Alabama would lead us right into college football, but I didn't.
That's okay.
Actually...
That's okay.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. I didn't fix
August 7th, 1935.
So, yeah?
So, 90 years old.
That's
just
crazy.
As of last month.
Wow. Yeah. That is crazy that August is last month, too. It's September.
Yeah, I've kept writing dates down as 08.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. And it's not. It's 09 now.
That is crazy.
September. Already.
What?
Already in the second month of school, technically. Technically the second week of school, but we started in August and now it's September, so let's say second month.
We've already had a month of school.
We've already had a whole month of school. Yeah, that's how we think about it. That's how you got to think about it.
Speaking of developments over the last month, one headline that has popped up recently, also in the NFC East, is the emergence of a 7th-round rookie running back named Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Goes by Bill. If you're listening to this podcast, there's a chance you've never heard of him because you're listening. This may be the only football podcast you listen to because you just like, oh, Hank and Baden, my guys. Yeah. Or you're really into football and you just love listening. Or you just stumbled across it. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast.
Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast. Today we're talking about Bill.
Talking about Bill. I love that. One, I have him in both my fantasy leagues right now.
Really?
I do.
I'm impressed. Talk about a sleeper pick.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a sleeper pick.
You look at Washington's offense, they're going to score a lot of points.
Absolutely.
Jaden Daniels, especially with a little bit of question mark at the wide receiver position. Terry McLaurin just having that contract dispute. Obviously got re-signed, but still might take a while to get up to speed.
Yeah, and then you think about like Brandon Ayuk last season.
Yes.
You know,
and
that
then,
kind of trajectory.
Yeah. And then Deebo Samuel's on their depth chart. There's not a whole lot else there. And then tight ends, Zach Ertz is getting old, and their backup is still developing and I don't think has that high of a ceiling. Eckler's getting old. They trade away Brian Robinson to make room for Bill on their roster. This guy could end the season as a top 15 running back, and I don't think that's much of a stretch.
No.
I would not in the least be surprised to see Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt as a top 15 running back by the end of this season. We saw what Pacheco did in Kansas City, 7th-round rookie.
That is true.
This guy is in maybe not quite as good an offense as that Kansas City regime. With I believe that was still when that was the year after Tyreek Hill. So probably a pretty similar offense. Honestly, better. The Chiefs that regular season had a bad offense.
Yeah.
This guy's set up for success, has been put in a good spot, and as we said, serving the viewers, we want to show you this guy. If you haven't drafted in your fantasy league yet, or if he's still available on the waiver wire, pick him up. Do it.
Yeah, and it says here that he is 5'11" and only 207 pounds. So he's not a big guy.
Not a huge guy.
Obviously, I mean, that's a big guy.
Of course,
but he's
for an NFL
running back, not a huge guy, but he sure gets the job done.
100%.
Or we've seen him get the job done in preseason.
Yeah, 100%. That's the guy that I'm going to be really excited to watch because he's kind of been a meme in some ways. Just everyone's talking about Bill and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He's just the famous fantasy football sleeper, so most of y'all have probably heard of him. But I just had to talk about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt this episode.
Oh, yeah. We're glad you did.
100%. Thank you. Let's jump into some college football. What do you think?
Love it. Let's get started.
The main thing I want to cover, we're going to talk about all 4 top 10 losses. Crazy that happened in week 1.
Yeah.
And then one Heisman riser and one Heisman faller. Let's go with from top to bottom of the top 10 of the teams that lost. Actually, I lied. We're not going to do that. We're going to go in this order that I have. And we're going to go whatever order. Well, we'll see. Anyway, starting with the big game, big noon kickoff, college game day, Ohio State, UT. If I'm being honest, this is about what I expected. It was a little more defensive than I expected. I thought Arch would play a little better.
Yeah.
But I think part of the reason offense looked bad is because the defense is really good on both these teams.
Both the teams' defense it was such a defensive game.
And you look at the pressure, there's crazy pressure. Both these guys, Sayan's first career start, Arch's first career road start, and it's against the number one team, or they were the now number one team, the then number 3 team in the country in the AP poll.
Just coming off the national championship.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was surprised at the level that both offenses played. I definitely expected a little bit more. But it's not mind-blowing. You can see both not necessarily young quarterbacks. Young, and they haven't been in that position with that pressure yet. And so seeing them step into that first game, and I mean, imagine that being your first game, UT versus Ohio State. I mean, that if you are coming in as the starter, that's terrifying. You know, you haven't been there before. You just haven't been in that pressure before, and you're coming in as the number 1 and the number 3. The offenses are still getting figured out. You know, rosters, people, there's still chemistry that's getting worked out. But, I mean, the defenses, you can't say enough about the defenses.
100%.
And then you get, oh, my goodness. I can't remember his name. I was just absolutely impressed by the UT secondary. I mean, that was 18-year-old true freshman who was on Jeremiah Smith the whole time.
I mean, less than 60 or around 60 yards.
Yeah, it's very impressed from UT on that end. And that kid, you can see there's a lot of potential. Not potential, he's already there, but he is going to be a bright future. He's going to be somebody to be scared of. So I think defensively on both teams, you look at that and you're like, okay, we are in a good spot. Like we got somewhere to work with. And on offense, you just, I think, got to get these guys comfortable.
100%.
Got to get them in the groove to be with that pressure, and don't give up on these guys. You know, they're both good teams, obviously, but they just need to figure out how to execute in that space. You know?
Yeah, 100%. One that I did not expect was Miami beating Notre Dame. I expected Notre Dame to win this because of the run game that they have. You look at their running backs, I believe Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love, and they didn't really run the ball that much. Only 16 running back carries, and C.J. Carr had 11 carries, but only averaged 1.5 yards per carry. Both quarterbacks look good. Especially, I was surprised with Miami's offense. Obviously, it's a good system, good quarterback system, but Carson Beck just jumping into a brand new offense. And we have, especially Cam Ward's gone, Xavier Restrepo's gone, Damian Martinez is gone, Elijah Arroyo's gone. So many of these guys playing at the next level now. And they looked really good.
Yeah. And he's a very different, what's cool about that for Miami, and I guess impressive, is the fact that Carson Beck is a very different player from Cam Ward.
100%.
And they have still made it work. Not made it work, but they've developed that offense around him for it to be his offense. You know, they're not trying to fit this other guy into that Cam Ward offense. You know, they're able to develop around him. And I thought that was very impressive to watch. And it looks good for Miami.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see what goes on in the ACC because of, well, the next two games we'll talk about. One, ACC team losing, LSU beating Clemson. This is another one that I did expect. Not necessarily because I'm a Nussmeier fan. I've never really bought into the Nussmeier hype. I think he's a good quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that will be the reason you win the national championship. He can be helpful, but he won't be the X factor. Anyway, I am a huge fan of LSU's defense. Harold Perkins, and just the whole defense is amazing. And that's what we saw this game. More defensive than I expected, similar to Ohio State over UT. And Clemson's defense looked better than I expected too. That's what kept them in the game. Of course, Cade Klubnik, he looked fine. His stats weren't terrible. But the defense is what kept them in the game, if we're being honest. But what we saw here is that, as we said, both of these teams' defenses will keep them in the playoff hunt. And luckily for both, well, especially for LSU, Nussmeier won't have to be a Heisman candidate for them to win. Their defense can be what carries them, even in the SEC, I think. And then Nussmeier can do what he's best at.
Yeah, I did not hold LSU's chances very highly. Or obviously it's only the first week. But I don't know if you saw or heard anything about that Netflix special or Netflix like docuseries that went around to different colleges. It's like a college. It's the SEC documentary series on Netflix, and there was a lot of backlash, especially like LSU fan backlash, on a lot of the interactions between LSU's coach and just the players, and some like questioning if how he was gonna be able to rally the team. Just there seemed to be a lot of negativity in the way he was interacting with players, and so just kind of seeing that and questioning how that would translate to now coming into the season. And it seems like it's going well. It seems like the players, they want to play for him. And so, that just shows you what you see in a documentary and stuff. That's not always what you see from the outside as a fan. You're not in the locker room with everybody. You're not there. So obviously, it seems like they're holding it together well. They're executing and everything. I just thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Just kind of seeing some backlash there, and then seeing, obviously the players want to play for him, and they're playing well. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Little sidebar there.
That's a good point. I'm not a big Netflix guy, so I honestly, I've heard about the
Ryan, who I always work out with. He went to LSU, and apparently he, like, every single workout he would talk to me about how the LSU coach and everything, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So then I went and watched it, and I was like, oh, I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah. And
then watched the game, and
they
look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know.
Yeah, LSU has a lot of big games coming up on their schedule, so the whole season is going to be interesting to watch. Mm-hmm. And then 2 more teams that'll be interesting to watch: Florida State and Alabama.
Yeah.
Only Coach Corso saw this one coming. One, the fact that Alabama got relatively blown out.
Yeah.
Their first game of the season.
They just got killed.
And the fact that it was Florida State. I don't think there's any funnier team that this could have happened. Florida State, after 2-10 last season, after just the terrible team that they were to start the season, comes out and beats Florida State after all of the talk from their new quarterback, Tommy Castellanos, saying, Saban's not here to save you. And they came in and won.
Yeah, no, they lived up to the talk. And great. What a 3-year span for FSU fans.
Oh,
there was all the we should have been in the national championship, the Final Four.
Shouldn't have been.
And then they're like, it's only because of the injury. We definitely should have been in there. We would have wiped the floor with everybody. And then they get killed in the bowl game.
Which was a bowl game, but still.
A bowl game, but no.
Without Jordan Travis, let's just be honest, they did not.
Absolutely not. So then they go and they're like, all right, this is our year. We had a great season last season, and it's like their revenge season. Go 2-10. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, well, goodbye FSU. Nobody's going to have to worry about FSU anymore for a while. You don't even got to think about them. Come out and blow out Alabama in your first game. If you're a Florida State fan, you don't even know what to think right now.
100%. I had thought about the 2-10, but I didn't even think about this in light of the undefeated season that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked good against Alabama's defense, which we'll see the rest of the season how good their defense really is. Tommy Castellanos had a good showing in the air and on the ground. A lot of the wide receivers had relatively good stats. And then Bama had good stats in the air, but I think they need to figure out their system. I'm sure part of it was Jam Miller, star running back, who is from our hometown.
Really?
Graduate of Tyler Legacy High School.
Hey, there we go. That's pretty cool.
But he was hurt this game. I'm sure that hurt.
Yeah.
But probably would not have gotten him 14 points.
No.
And I want to watch, I don't want to watch Bama play at University of Louisiana Monroe this week. But I will look at the stats afterwards for sure and see how Ty Simpson looked. If Jay Miller's back, how he looked. How the rest of their run game looked. How their defense looked against a team that will play to the level of an FCS team, even though they are an FBS team.
Yeah. And I mean, for Alabama, that was just they were ranked. I believe I just looked this up to make sure, but they were ranked 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe are they 21 or 23?
I think they're
now?
21 now.
I mean,
crazy drop.
Crazy drop.
I think it's the biggest drop in week 1 since 1984 is what I read.
Yeah. And for it to be Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
like that name just makes it even worse. You know,
Mm-hmm. Like
that's insanity.
Our whole lives, if you're talking about the team to beat, every now and then it's like, oh, okay, Georgia, okay, Clemson, okay,
but the most
Texas,
consistently,
Alabama for the past 15 years.
Especially when I was in like middle school, Alabama was like everybody, which some years was me. It just depended on who they were playing in the Super Bowl. But like some years, it's like it's the Tom. Well, no, it's the Tom Brady. And like, sometimes I would want Tom Brady to win, but like overall, I'd be like, oh my gosh, can the Patriots just stop winning? It was the equivalent of that. It's you're like, oh my gosh, can somebody else win other than Alabama? Can somebody else get there? I don't care who it is. I just don't want it to be Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were, and so to see this week 1, especially making it even more comical that it's FSU.
Mm-hmm.
It really is just crazy, and it's just very interesting to see how this season's gonna continue. Because like I said, it's week 1. There's so much football left. But that's a hard season opener for them, and a great season opener for Florida State.
100%. Let's jump into some of the Heisman race. And yeah, I'm excited to watch both those teams for the rest of the season. Florida State may come up again in the rest of this podcast. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, Heisman. Let's jump to honestly, let's do the riser first.
Okay.
A Heisman riser, a school we are familiar with Heisman, Oklahoma University. John Mateer set the OU record for the most passing yards in an OU debut. Passing one of our favorites here at the Nice Catch podcast, Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
So, of course, this is against I believe the Illinois State Redbirds.
Yeah, fair enough.
Of course, FCS team, take it with a grain of salt. But John Mateer's been hyped up. Receiving core is what I was really worried about at OU. We saw transfers, injuries, whatever, just unproven receiving core. They look good. Even though it was FCS, they look good. And I think John Mateer, his Heisman odds have gone way up, and I'm all for it. OU, of course, is a mid-tier SEC team at this point, but if John Mateer continues to carry OU like he did Washington State, then I think we could see a Heisman-type season incoming.
Oh, absolutely. I did not know that he surpassed Baker Mayfield on that record.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. That's pretty cool, and that's tough to do.
Mm-hmm. And then the faller, I think we probably all know Arch Manning. He just didn't look really good.
Yeah,
he had watching.
Saying that, I'm all behind Arch Manning, but like you watched it, there were a lot of expectations, and I don't think he hit any of them.
And of course, it's unrealistic to put those expectations on someone. Some of it's the name, some of it's the recruiting, some of it's Texas, some of it's the game. But I think he felt the pressure in a big way. I think he had adrenaline. We saw that with some really errant throws in the first half. His stats they were fine. They don't speak Heisman. Of course, we'll reevaluate after San Jose State, after the rest of their season. But still, I don't like his
first
odds.
Showing. It wasn't what anybody expected, or at least what I expected.
And especially when that game is against a Heisman candidate and Jeremiah Smith, they'll look at that the whole rest of the race. Oh, well, his team won. And, of course, Jeremiah Smith didn't have great stats this game either. But that game, I think, hurts Arch Manning. I mean, his odds went down from plus 800 to, I believe, 2,000. So
that is
huge drop.
Huge drop.
Passed by John Mateer. I think... I don't remember who the favorite is now. It may be John Mateer. I don't think it is, though. Anyway. You ready for some hot takes?
I am. Oh,
I've been waiting for this.
One more game that we didn't come up with was last night's game, North Carolina versus TCU. And that one...
Coach Belichick.
Yeah, that one was a game that a lot of eyes were on because it was Coach Belichick's debut at North Carolina. Yeah, that was a big... That was a little hard to watch, honestly. I mean, that another one, that was a defensive game a lot of the time. A lot of picks thrown on both sides. Mm-hmm. At least I probably watched 2 quarters of it. I think I watched the second and the third quarter in between homework. And so I just was expecting that to go differently, especially against TCU, who not a lot of people I think have viewed super highly in the last few years. And so that was really interesting. And so I think a lot of people were thinking, Coach Belichick, he's really going to make a showing for this college debut, and not quite what we saw. It was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gio Lopez didn't look great. Max Johnson ended up coming in and playing. Mm-hmm. And, not looking good for North Carolina, especially with some other ACC teams looking pretty good.
Looking very good. Yeah, that hurts their chances a lot.
100%.
All right, that's all I had for that.
Perfect. Let's jump. Let's finish the hot takes. I think we got let's do this in about 20 minutes.
Perfect.
Or a little less. I think that's what we got, a good amount of recording. I'll start. I'll give you the number one hot take.
Okay, so you want to start at your best?
I'll start at the bottom. Start at the bottom.
Okay.
And if we end up taking each other's, which for you viewers, in the past when we've done top 10, Baden and I have told each other just to make sure we don't overlap. Now, I have no idea what Baden's going to talk about.
Yeah, we have not talked about it.
So, what you hear, these are live reactions.
Exactly.
So, we may have to go on the fly a little bit. But, I'll start us off. Hot take. Oh, this is so fun. I love this. I'm making y'all wait. I'm giving y'all suspense. But we have a quarterback hot take. We may have several of these on this list. But this quarterback starts the first 16 weeks for the Cleveland Browns and keeps them on the edge of playoff contention. I think Joe Flacco ends up doing about what he did last time he was with the Browns. I think even with Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders having high upside, Joe Flacco plays well enough in the AFC, even in their division, to keep them on the fringe of playoff contention. I don't think they make it, but I think that they're not mathematically eliminated until the last few weeks.
Really?
And that's when they think Joe Flacco gives them a chance to win. Myles Garrett's there. They have some pieces who can perform well. Joe Flacco starts 16 weeks, and they're mathematically in playoff contention until the last 2 weeks of the season, which is really close. You think of the last 2 weeks, there's a lot of teams that are eliminated by that point. There we go. That's my number 5, number 10 overall, Joe Flacco.
I was going to write something about, or I was going to go with something about the Browns quarterback room, but I was like, I just feel like Hank has a hot take about that. I had a feeling, so I didn't end up going with that.
We're going basic, though.
I'm glad.
This isn't what gets the clickbait.
Yeah, that one's not a crazy one. That's realistic, and especially when you think about just the veteran that Joe Flacco is and the consistency that he has. This one, once again, this is not super crazy. And
we have
if
to believe
you
it.
have listened to the last season or two of the podcast, you'll know, this is Baden's take. But I think the Buccaneers will make the NFC Championship. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be tough, but looking at their division, I would say this might be an even hotter take than saying that they're going to be in the NFC Championship. But I think that out of the 6 divisional games that they'll play, they're winning at least 5 of them, and the only reason that they would lose the 6th one is the last game of the season, and they don't need that win.
Yeah.
And they don't have their starters. Otherwise, I don't see a scenario where I honestly think that that's probably the worst division in the NFL right now. is their division besides them, And so I think you already put 5 wins, at least 5 wins, up on the board. And I just think the NFC, there are a lot of very good teams. But besides the Eagles, I think those are very good teams that can be inconsistent and that you can find holes in. I think the Buccaneers are one of those teams that knows how to win. And so like the Packers. The Packers are going to be a very good team, I think. But I think they're going to lose a couple big games. And I think the Buccaneers can be a team that delivers that loss. So I'm saying Buccaneers, NFC Championship, win at least 5 of their 6 divisional games.
Yeah, I love that.
Like I said, not the hottest take in the world, but it's definitely coming from me. But big Bucs fan, big Baker guy. That's something that I think will happen.
Yeah, I like that. You look at their receiving core. Once Jalen McMillan is fully healthy, that top 4 with Igbuka and obviously with Godwin and Mike Evans. And then Bucky Irving made a big name for himself. Rashad White's still there. They don't have, Kate Otton's a good tight end. Their defense is still Vita Vea. They have a good defense. It's not the Eagles' defense. But Baker Mayfield's someone who's going to go out there and put everything on the line to win the game. I
tried to get all 3, so not McMillan, but I tried to get Igbuka, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin on my fantasy team in our league. Not like I wanted all 3 of them, but like I didn't get one and I tried to get the other. I didn't get him. I tried to get the other. But it was we did snake draft and I was last pick / first pick, so I got the 2 back to back. But it was like I'd take my 2 picks and then I would queue, I'd have Mike Evans queued, or I think I queued Chris Godwin first. It was like the next pick, he's gone. I was like, okay, Mike Evans.
I got Mike Evans, didn't I?
Maybe
it was the other league.
I think you did. I know I had Chris Godwin queued.
Yeah, I got
gone. Him. And then I was like, all right, that's fine. Queue Mike Evans. Literally probably 2 picks later, gone.
Me.
And I was like,
all right.
Me. And I was like, okay, I don't want to take Igbuka this high, so I'm going to let him sit for a round or 2. Gone. And I was like, okay, I should have just taken him when he was on the board. But that's how highly I view the Buccaneers. But all right,
awesome.
What you got?
Number 8. Let me get in the right Google Doc. This is a big quarterback take. 2 quarterbacks solidify themselves as starters, and 2 find themselves battling for their starting spots in training camp next season. Justin Fields and Bryce Young both earned themselves extensions, playing at least above average, enough to earn them extensions. Bryce Young looked better at the end of last season. Justin Fields, we saw flashes with the Steelers. We saw a really good season with the Bears once.
Yeah.
I think that both these guys, cue the money, give him extensions. And then 2 guys that battle for starting spots in training camp next season are Trevor Lawrence and Kyler Murray. Trevor Lawrence has never looked that good. He's never lived up to the expectations. Sure, it's the Jaguars. Sure, it's the coaches. Sure, it's what they're surrounded with. But you look at the Jaguars now, they have some good pieces. Trayvon Walker, obviously Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas. But Trevor Lawrence has to be that guy. You trade up for Travis Hunter. You see Liam Cohen willing to do crazy things with his roster. And if Trevor Lawrence isn't that guy this year, after they pay him all that money a few years ago, I think that he finds himself battling with a rookie next year, especially when you look at the draft class that's coming in and where they could be sitting in the draft. And then Kyler Murray. This is a guy who, a few years ago, was an MVP candidate. But remember, so was Cam Newton, Todd Gurley. These guys don't last long. Kyler Murray, and again, it's the Cardinals. They have Trey McBride. They have Marvin Harrison. I don't think is going to turn out. They don't have that great of a receiving core. James Conner's old. Their defense doesn't have many stars on it. And Kyler Murray, he's a running quarterback. They don't last that long. Once his running is gone, so is really his appeal.
Yeah.
His appeal is as a runner, not as much as a passer. He was great in college, but I think that this is just about his last season as the starter for the Cardinals.
I think that's fair. They're definitely gonna have to find somebody. The Cardinals will, but I think that's fair. All right, for number 7, kind of going along with a quarterback take. Who do you? For Trevor Lawrence, do you think the Jaguars get a rookie, or you think they try and find a free agent or trade?
Good cue.
To maybe like a veteran who can hold in between for a year or two, or even not a veteran, even if another quarterback who's almost in the same situation as Trevor Lawrence, but that they see more potential in, try and pick him up. I mean, obviously, I doubt that Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are still going to be on the Browns the next season.
Yeah.
Like if it's something like that where one of those guys gets loot, like what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that most likely, especially for Trevor Lawrence, it'll be a rookie that they bring in.
Because I guess Trevor Lawrence is relatively young.
Both these guys are relatively young, but a lot of backups.
Yeah.
So, but I also think it could be a Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson conversation.
Yeah.
Someone like Daniel Jones, who we've seen flashes in, maybe a Justin Fields. I mean, obviously, my take for Justin Fields is here. So someone like if Sam Darnold ends up not turning out, if Geno Smith ends up not being the answer, someone like that. If the Cowboys move on from Dak Prescott, something like that, bring in someone who can compete, or a rookie who they think could be the future, and ease these guys out of their starting spots.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Kind of going along with I guess for number 7.
Yeah.
Number 7. Kind of going along with the quarterback route, I think just looking at the potential for the team and the need for success for this specific team, after a lot of not success, they have a need for success. And I think if they don't get it, this is what's going to happen. I think that Jackson Dart is going to be the starting quarterback for the Giants by week 10.
Okay.
I think that...
It's not that hard to take.
Yeah, that might not be crazy, but I think that, of course, Jameis Winston is just not going to be the starter. I love Jameis Winston, but he's going to be a number 2 or a 3. I just think that Russell Wilson, I think the Giants are at a point to where they need a successful season. Like, they have been so terrible for so long that they need success. And I think that if Russell Wilson, I don't think there's a lot of patience for someone like Russell Wilson, who he's a veteran. It's not like he's developing, You're not working with him to develop. I think that Russell Wilson is there, and if he doesn't bring them that success by week 8 or 9, I think that they're going to say, okay, we need to sit this guy and let Jackson Dart go. Because I just don't think they're going to have patience for a guy like Russell Wilson. And so I definitely think that Jackson Dart, by at the most week 10, is going to be the starter.
Yeah. Oh, I'm totally with you there. Russell Wilson's good, but Jackson Dart's the future. I would give you more like a 5, maybe 6, 7.
Maybe 6, 7 weeks.
Yeah, maybe 6, 7.
Really, I thought I was being not generous. The opposite of generous, saying week 10. Being bold, saying week 10.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta. If you can one up my hot take, do it. If you can take it to the next level. I don't know. I'm not gonna give examples because I was about to say my number 1 hot take. We'll save that one.
Oh yeah.
My number 3, number 6 overall. 3 rookies will find themselves as top 5 players at their respective positions at the end of this season. Number 1, tight end Colston Loveland for the Bears. You look at the system that's coming in to Chicago with Ben Johnson. You look at Sam Laporta. This guy, kind of out of nowhere, was I believe, end of first round tight end, and came in, very quickly became a top tight end. I think Colston Loveland, 10th overall pick, will do the exact same thing, become one of Caleb Williams' favorite targets. Even with Cole Kmet there, you don't draft a tight end 10 overall if you're not going to start him. And if he's not going to be a key part of your offense. Second, we have a running back, and it's Omarion Hampton. Sure, Genty's great, but he's on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Omarion Hampton is in Los Angeles with the Chargers, with Jim Harbaugh, and an offense that loves to run the ball. and a good offensive line. Of course, the injuries there will hurt this a good bit. But Hampton is set up really well, and he doesn't have to do it alone. Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. You have Trey Harris as a rookie. You have Ladd McConkey. You have Keenan Allen coming back. Hampton is set up really well and in a perfect system and has a lot of talent. His stats in college were amazing. And third, a little more niche, just so you're looking at defensive players, Jahdae Barron, corner for the Denver Broncos. They already have one of the top corners in Surtain.
The 10th, according to NFL, the 10th best player.
I mean, I'd give it to him. He deserves that Defensive Player of the Year. And that's going to help out Jahdae Barron, too. He's going to have the second best guy most of the time.
Yeah.
And even when he doesn't, he showed in college what he can do. I mean, he was on the team that, held Jeremiah Smith to 3 yards. I think still lost. I believe it was Texas that did that. But
yes, Texas held Jeremiah Smith to 3 yards.
Jahdae Barron will be a top 5 corner by the end of this season. All right, 5 more. Let's hit it in the next 5-ish minutes.
Perfect.
I think that's a good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. I think that the Bengals, I think that they will sneak into the wild card round, and I think they're out first round of the playoffs.
Okay. But they're making it.
But I think they're making it. I think a lot of people don't think they're going to make it because of Trey Hendrickson mainly, because they just haven't been able to. Just with that defense, it just does not look good.
Yeah.
And their defense was so bad last year.
It was the worst in the league.
And it got worse. It somehow got worse. But I just think that I just can't count against Joe Burrow in that offense. And I think they're going to do just enough to get into the wild card. I think that they will be that last spot in the playoffs. And then I think they're going to lose out in the first round. But my hot take is that the Bengals will make the wild card round.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do just enough to get in there. And then I think that's it for them.
Yeah. Offensively, no question. You have Joe Burrow. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins. I don't know if I'm as high on Chase Brown as a lot of guys are. They even got better at tight end this year. Eosi Voss has been a great wide receiver 3, and Jermaine Burton has been a great wide receiver 4. Both those guys really good filling in behind the top 2, who are both debatably top 10 in the NFL. But the defense, everything except Trey Hendrickson and maybe Shamar Stewart, who knows what's going to happen there. So the defense is the question. If they can hold that down, easily a playoff team. But I just don't know with the defense, especially with their division.
Yeah.
The Ravens. The Steelers aren't going to be that much of a threat offensively. Neither are the Browns. But you're playing the Ravens twice a year. And, again, if they make it to the playoffs, I don't see them making it past the first round. My number 4 overall, shorter one, with the Cardinals again. Their number 1 receiver, it's not who we expect. Trey McBride is going to lead the Cardinals in receiving this year. Not Marvin Harrison Jr., not Mike Wilson. I guess
that's really it.
Those are the main guys. I feel like there's someone else there that, I don't know. But Trey McBride was, I believe, the tight end 2 last year with only catching 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And so if he gets a similar amount of yardage, because I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to improve that much, and he gets a more normal amount of touchdowns, I don't remember if I said this a second ago, tight end 1 in fantasy. That's where I see him finishing. I drafted him as a tight end 1. I drafted him before Brock Bowers was off the board.
Really?
And I think that you look at the Cardinals, you look at Kyler Murray, you look at their wide receiving core, this guy is going to lead the Cardinals in receiving and as a tight end 1 in fantasy football. 3 more. Hit your number 3, Baden, or your number 2, number 3 overall.
My number 3 overall. I wrote this down as a hot take, and then I looked back at it and I saw that maybe it isn't as hot to take as it is. But I definitely think it's so incredibly difficult to do. I think that the Eagles are going to win back-to-back Super Bowls.
Okay.
I think
that is a really hot take.
I just they didn't lose anything.
They didn't get
They
any
only
worse.
got better. And yet a lot of the NFC teams also got better. They got Micah Parsons to the Packers. But I don't think, even with the Commanders being as good as they are, I don't think that they can beat the Eagles.
Okay.
And other than that, like, the Eagles are going to win their division, obviously. I guess maybe not obviously, because the Commanders are a very, very good team. But I think the Eagles are going to win their division, and I just think once they get on a roll, which they will, I don't think they can be stopped, because we saw what they were last year, and I just don't think that they just got better. And so I truly believe that the Eagles can, and for the surest, as sure as I am, I think they can and will win the Super Bowl back-to-back.
Yeah, I think of anyone in recent years, even more than the Chiefs, they have the best chance. But just looking at history and back-to-backs, with injuries and inconsistency, I mean, Saquon most likely is not going to go over 2,000 yards again.
It's true.
Jalen Hurts, I'm not that high on Jalen Hurts. But again, you look on paper, there's no reason they can't repeat. The only reason that I'm not with you, that I do think that is a really hot take, is history. It just doesn't happen, repeat Super Bowls. I mean, it does. It's just not hardly ever.
Yeah, it's rare.
But again, you look at the NFC, you look at the Eagles' offense and defense, and I mean, you look at the Eagles' whole roster on paper.
Yeah, and that's another thing when I think of, I think that they have the best, I think if I look at the NFC, they have the best chance of making it there. And then I look at the AFC, and I see something different from the NFC, where I see a lot of teams that didn't get, I see one team in the AFC that got exponentially better. I don't think the Chiefs wildly improved on their roster. I don't think the Ravens defense definitely, not that they needed to massively improve, but they improved. But it's not a drastic improvement. The Bills, you don't see a huge improvement there. I don't see, besides one team, which will come up.
Yep.
I don't see a huge improvement by
I see where you're going.
on the AFC, and I do see even more improvement with the Eagles. So I think if they get there, I don't see a team that can beat them. So that's my. And of course, like you said, there are things you can't put on paper, like injuries, like locker room things, like we saw a couple years ago. You know, you can't put that on paper. Those aren't stats, you know. But I think statistically, I think they can do it.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I think it's definitely a hot take, and I have a pretty hot take right here.
All right.
A surprise college football playoff team will make it there by winning their conference, the All-Coastal Conference plus SMU, as I like to call it, as in the ACC.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you throw two California teams in there. It's All-Coastal Conference. Anyway, that team is the Florida State Seminoles.
Really?
I am jumping on the train right now. Tommy Castellanos, their roster, their defense, their coach, they are making it deep in an ACC that has, I think, 3-4 teams that can win it. Florida State is going to emerge as the number one of all those teams and make it to the college football playoffs.
What do you think, in your view, what are the two teams? If you had to pick two teams, what are the two teams they need to beat? Like these are the two teams that give them the most trouble.
The SEC or the ACC, the three teams besides them that can win it, Clemson and Miami, obviously, and Louisville. Louisville with Miller Moss is going to be a sleeper team. They were a team that I liked a lot, their ACC chances. But you look at Florida State's season. Let me double check who they play. I think they only play Miami, and Clemson. They don't play Louisville. They got to beat both those. They have to beat at least one of those teams to make it, I would assume. And then their rivalry game against Florida doesn't do them a huge favor. But I think you lose a non-conference game against Florida, and you lose either against Clemson or Miami, probably Miami, and you still make it in, and then you win the conference championship game, you make it out.
Really?
That's my take.
Yeah, I would not have thought, even after yesterday, I would not have thought Florida State over Miami. But that's, hey,
Hot takes?
I can tell you believe it.
Hot takes.
I'm all here for it.
ACC is a wild place.
It is a wild conference. It's a wild conference.
And Florida State's a wild team.
Yeah.
And I am just betting on that
2-10, whatever happened, fluke.
Yeah,
And they're
being
back.
a fluke, and they're back. All right, we'll
Number
see
one.
what happens. Number
I
one.
see where you're going, and
Yeah.
I like it. I'm behind this team too, and I want to hear how far you're willing to take them.
When I started forming, I knew, like, when I was first, like, okay, what, because we kind of talked about the content of this episode, and we were like, all right, let's end with some hot takes. And I was like, first thought, Denver Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was formulating my thoughts. I was formulating how I felt about the team, how I felt about the AFC, and I was thinking, I think they make it to the AFC Championship. I think they just do make it to the AFC Championship. I think their defense was already fantastic, and it only got better. It got a lot better. I think their offense, you can see, Bo Nix is only going to get better. I think the spot that I see that can really hold them back is receiver.
Yeah.
There's a big gap in receiver, but I think they can work it out. I think they can figure it out. I think that they have a chance to win the AFC Championship.
Okay.
I think that the Denver Broncos will be the AFC team in the Super Bowl. And without a doubt, I think they make the AFC Championship.
Okay. I like that. I have been huge on the Broncos this offseason. Big backer on that they'll win their division. But, as you said, wide receiver is the question.
I
Courtland
was
Sutton.
just waiting to see something over the offseason with wide receiver.
They have 5 wide receivers on their roster. They have Courtland Sutton, who has been proven but isn't who you want your number one to be on a Super Bowl caliber team. They have trading for, or I think it was free agency, but Evan Ingram is a kind of hybrid tight end wide receiver. He'll help you out a lot, but not enough, just them two who are relative stars. Someone like Troy Franklin could step up. Marvin Mims has, been his depth guy. Trent Sherfield has had, good years. And then rookie Pat Bryant from Illinois I don't remember what round he was drafted. He was a 3rd-round pick. And so he could step up as well. He's 6'2", 204. So if these young guys, if these a little bit unproven guys can step up, I see them being able to make it. The Ravens, I think, are going to be really good. The Bills, this could be their year. They re-signed Gabe Davis today, which we forgot about that earlier. But at this point in his career, he's not that much of a headline.
I saw that right as I was walking here.
But
that's one thing that I think helps the Broncos a lot in the AFC with a lot of strong teams is their division. Because, of course, you have the Chiefs. And you can never, what we've learned time and time and time again, you can never count out the Chiefs. But the Raiders and the Chargers are going to be better this year. But I just think I really do think that that's 4 wins for the Broncos. And I think that they will beat the Chiefs. Let's see. I think the Chargers could probably beat the Broncos once. I don't think the Raiders can beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
And I do think that the Broncos will beat the Chiefs at least once in the regular season, and I think if they face them again in the postseason, which they should face them again in the postseason, I think they'll beat them.
Okay. That's bold.
It's
Beating
very
the Chiefs
bold.
in the postseason is always bold.
And the thing is, if they want to make it to the AFC Championship, they have to beat the Chiefs in the postseason.
Or just hope someone else does it for them.
Or hope so. And, if you get the Ravens or the Bills in there, there's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance that they can take out the Chiefs. There's a good chance. But then that leaves that team for you. But I am very high on Bo Nix. I think that we saw it be a little rocky at the beginning of the year, but he only improved. And I think he's just going to keep going up. I think the ceiling is very high. And I think Sean Payton and him have figured it out. And I think that scheme is working. And so I think it's definitely going to depend on the wide receivers. But otherwise, I don't see a hole in that team. And so I'm saying it. I think that the Broncos, they're my favorite for the AFC Super Bowl team.
I like that a lot. again, wide receiver, can those guys step up is a question.
Yeah.
But I would love that. If the Broncos make it, and if the Bucks make it, bro, those two teams, some of these teams just are so easy to root for. The Broncos, the Bills, the Bucks, all these teams, so easy to root for. I would love if one of them make it. Well, sorry, that was a little longer than 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I when I ramble, I can kind of get on a little bit of a tangent.
I didn't help either. But
we're passionate
we
about
got
what
you
we're
good
talking about.
content.
We sure
got
did.
you. I
give
thought
it our
that
best.
This originally said it was going to cut me off at 58 minutes. And then it didn't. So I don't think it did. But oh no, it's not. It's still moving. So
perfect.
Yeah, we got this for you. Dude, I'm so excited for this season. Especially if we're hoping to get to do every week. There's going to be weeks we can't. There's going to be fall break. Well, we'll be here for Tuesday of fall break. Yeah. Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, all these things. But I mean, we're neighbors now.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And you know, and that's the thing is we this is something really fun for us to do. But also we want to get y'all good content, something that y'all can listen to, something y'all enjoy listening to. And I think something that is sometimes hard is when we which we'll probably have to do sometimes, but try and cram too much into one episode, like when we have to do it bi-weekly. So I think if we can get in weekly, get you that content, and just, I mean, this is just something really fun for us to do. So the more we get to do it, the better.
Yeah.
And
we're trying to make more content too. I don't know anything about making Instagram Reels, but if we can get you some Instagram Reels, that's just, that's always a little fun thing.
We're figuring this out, so y'all are gonna have to bear with us, but we're doing what we can. And we talked about this a little bit, is with the merch and stuff that we still have in stock, starting soon to try and formulate a website so we can be a little bit more formatted, a little bit hopefully easier to navigate. So we just know we have things, it's been a big summer, but we've kind of been able to come together, collect, and put some stuff together, and we're really working towards doing the best we can to serve y'all and just make this a good experience for everybody who's
100%.
Loves the podcast.
Yeah, but we need your help.
We do need your help. You got to listen.
Go
to if you have Instagram or you don't have Instagram and you want a Nice Catch podcast, follow us. That might seem like a small thing, but that in the long term that does help a lot.
100%.
And we're trying to be as active as we can on that. And
with the little bit that we know.
With the little bit that we know, yeah. Like I said, we are figuring it out. So you got to bear with us. We're doing what we can. But we're just having fun.
Yeah. Follow us on
y'all are too.
Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
YouTube. We're on YouTube.
YouTube, that's right.
Yes. And the episodes are on YouTube as well. And like when we did the draft, when we did our draft, that's on YouTube. So you get some video with us. So yeah, just interact. We're out there.
We're here for y'all, but we need y'all too.
Exactly.
So that's all I got.
That's all I got. I'm all good.
Here we go.
Take us out.
Thanks for listening to the Nice Catch podcast. We're here to serve you, our listener, and give you the football content you deserve. So if you love football, continue to tune in each episode from the off season all the way through the playoffs. This is the Nice Catch podcast.